With Fox Studios being bought and owned by Disney, Marvel Studios have obtained the rights to many of their characters, with the X-Men, Fantastic Four and Deadpool being the main characters the MCU will now have at its disposal. Now we know Kevin Feige will not be folding the already established X-Men universe into the MCU, as narratively the stories don't line up, and would make it a lot of hard work trying to explain how the actual timelines of these films work, and instead it would be far easier to just introduce mutants in their own film and make mutants a part of this universe instead of already established characters. Feige has also confirmed a Fantastic Four story is being worked on to integrate them into the universe. However, there is one character who will be making the jump from Fox to the MCU and will remain fairly unchanged hopefully, and that is Deadpool. And as always, please subscribe if you are enjoying my videos, and there will be a lot more to come. But anyways, I don't want to talk about that, let's move on. With Ryan Reynolds already confirming that Marvel Studios are working on integrating Deadpool into the MCU, it remains to be seen whether this will be a reboot of the character, with Reynolds still in the role, or a direct sequel to Deadpool 2. So what should Marvel do? Well, for me, I think Marvel need to make Deadpool 3 a direct sequel to the two previous films that were released by Fox. The best thing about Deadpool is his ability to break the fourth wall, and the fact he knows he is in a comic book or a film. Deadpool is a great character to write because he is not restricted by the continuity of previous stories, due to knowing the characters that surround him are fictional, including himself. He works moving across universes, whilst other characters don't know they're in a film. Deadpool does, so him showing up anywhere works, and he is able to use his humour to shine a light on perhaps the differences in the two new universes he is a part of. I think having a character like Deadpool show up in the MCU would be a great addition if utilised correctly. Deadpool can be a tiresome character with his type of humour, which can become irritating. Deadpool comics are very hit and miss on quality, and this depends highly on how the writers utilise his humour. If there is no restraint, Deadpool becomes a very annoying character with his antics. But if he is used creatively, Deadpool is really like no other comic book character. It is truly all about how Marvel used Deadpool. Wade Wilson showing up in Winter Soldier just wouldn't work, as a film like that doesn't call for a wacky hero to be a part of it. But say a film like Ant-Man, in which the main character does reference the fact this is a little silly, but is proud to be a superhero character, Deadpool can work. This can be the case when obtaining new characters to overuse them, especially for a character like Deadpool, who is highly marketable right now. I, however, do trust in Kevin Feige that he understands what works and doesn't work about Deadpool. Deadpool mostly works as a solo. He has always been shown to not work well with others and would rather go it alone, and only really do small team-ups with misfit characters, something the two Deadpool films have used throughout. So him showing up as one of the Avengers just doesn't work, as this is against the entire character's ethos. I think another aspect of Deadpool's humour comes from self-deprecation and the reference of ludicrousy of the situation they are in. That is a lot of what Marvel's humour already is, especially for someone like Tony Stark. I expect this aspect of Marvel's humour will always be retained. Now Tony Stark will no longer be part of Marvel films, but I don't think Deadpool is the character to take over. His delivery is more heavy-handed compared to the subtlety Marvel handle this type of humour, which works for Avengers films. The next question is, will this Deadpool be R-rated or PG-13 due to it being in the MCU? And I think this is the biggest question for fans. For me, this doesn't really matter. I think due to the success of the films, Deadpool has been associated with being an R-rated character. Now, whilst a lot of these stories are more adult in themes compared to other comic books, a large majority are just normal comic book stories, and Deadpool, instead of being a crass character, he is just plain silly. And I think Deadpool could be worked into a PG-13 Marvel universe with Ryan Reynolds still as the character. Obviously, the personality of the character cannot be changed if this is the continuation of the already established Deadpool story, but I think him living in a universe where his actions of violence and swearing are limited can make some great jokes. I think it's an aspect which could be added to Deadpool in order to keep him interesting and funny without the character becoming boring through the repeat of the same story beats. Loudmouth swearing mercenary wreaks havoc in bloody gory way. You can't keep doing that type of film because it will become boring very quickly, and I think we are right on the cusp of his type of humour becoming incredibly tiresome and people becoming very disinterested by it. Of course, the R rating was a big part of what made Ryan Reynolds' characterisation work and did add to the story, but stripping away a big part of the character could set Wade Wilson up for more creative work as he tries to navigate his new setting, a real fish out of water story. I think it could be quite funny to see Reynolds' Deadpool try to restrain himself from profanity as he tries to make his PG rating in order to be part of the Marvel Universe, and this can be an ongoing joke. At least it would be something new of the character. As the old saying goes, the same joke doesn't work twice. Trying something different could aid the character. A PG-13 film is allowed to use the word fuck once, and I think the use of this word could set up for a bigger impact when actually used, and Wade could be very careful he does not use it and ensures characters around him refrain from using this word, because he just desperately wants to be part of the MCU. I actually think that the PG-13 could be a major story point for a Deadpool film, and Wade could throughout the film ensure everyone stays in line, including himself, in order for his film to work. When we first saw Deadpool, he was R-rated, and it was shocking. An R-rated superhero comedy of a major comic book character had never really been done before, and that's why the first two films worked so much. It had that shock factor, and I think audiences were aching for something a little bit different from Marvel films and X-Men and DC. But now it's time for Deadpool to go in a different direction. R-rated films are very risky, and I know Deadpool's first two did very well. I think it's hard to pull it off a third time. We saw with this year's Birds of Prey that R rating doesn't always guarantee success, and especially Birds of Prey was an R-rated film set in a PG-13 DC universe. So it can be very jarring to have all these films a part of one universe, but a large section of your fans can't actually see the film to keep up with the story. I truly feel Deadpool is a good character and is in danger of being a character people think only works with the R rating, when that is not really what the character has been about for most of his lifespan. I mean, Deadpool shows up in the Spider-Man cartoon, and he works just as well as Reynolds' Deadpool. The R rating is not the essence of the character. There are variations to the character, yes, but I truly feel the current Deadpool we have can be in a PG-13 universe, as the character of Wade Wilson is so versatile and truly can show up in any type of universe, and it can work due to the character's complete self-awareness. It wouldn't make sense for a character like the Punisher to go from R rating to PG-13 due to him having no self-awareness, and it would be incredibly jarring to have a character who is just at heart so brutal. But a character like Deadpool who is just silly, you can do R ratings and you can do PG-13s. It's how comedy works. There are many different types of comedy, but brutal violence is just an R rating. So there we have it. I am really excited to see Deadpool in the MCU, as I think he is a great character and he can bring some self-awareness to the MCU and branch out the universe into other forms of subgenres of filmmaking. And who knows, perhaps the MCU would be comfortable making an R-rated Deadpool, keeping with the tone of the films that have come before. But for me, I would welcome a PG-13 Deadpool into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think it's probably the correct choice. I think it will add something new to the Deadpool we have seen previously. There'll be options of various different types of jokes told, and from a money-making perspective, it's much better for the MCU if they keep him PG-13 in order for all their fans to be able to see the next MCU film and keep up with the stories that are being told. But I'm really looking forward to Deadpool stepping into the MCU and wondering how the hell he got from Fox to here. Thank you for watching.